mining valleys of Wales, the valleys which have given so much wealth to Britain, and which have had so little wealth to show for themselves. Little, that is, but the precious coal deep in the earth, and the tough, highly skilled men who bring it to the surface. Self-respecting, independent men, familiar with danger. But they have an enemy harder to fight than sudden disaster. A creeping, insidious enemy, dust. John Osmond, a miner all his life, as his father and grandfather before him, is one of the victims of this enemy. One of the many thousands in South Wales to whom years of work in the dust-laden atmosphere of the pit have given the disease dreaded by all miners, pneumoconiosis. What is pneumoconiosis? Look at these X-ray pictures. Here is the chest of a normal man. We can see the spinal column. The ribs are plainly defined, and the clear lungs show up as black areas between the ribs. Here are the collarbones, setting up hard nodules in the soft tissues. Lungs in the early stages of pneumoconiosis show a snowstorm effect in the X-ray, like this. Intelligence and aptitude tests to see what kind of work they are suited for, and a short period of training to accustom them to factory life are arranged by the Ministry of Labour Rehabilitation Unit. For a miner certified with this disease must, whether he likes it or not, give up his calling. The coalface is not for him. But thanks to modern industry, Mr. Osmond and others like him can start a new and equally useful life without leaving home, in a factory where their problems are understood and catered for. And this factory is Mr. Osmond's next port of call. First, a visit to the factory's medical officer. This particular factory is unique, for it is the only factory in the world where every worker is certified as disabled. The medical officer has a chat with John Osmond, going into his case both medically and personally. What kind of work Mr. Osmond will do does not only depend on his physical condition. The management make every attempt to find him a job which will suit his aptitude and ability. The factory foreman takes him on a tour of the works to explain what goes on. Austin Junior cars, those beautifully made models which no boy could resist, and precious few fathers either, are turned out in large numbers by this factory. They are a particularly suitable choice because they call for skill and care, but not for heavy physical effort, which of course must be avoided by men who suffer from shortness of breath. Junior cars were his first product when it started in 1948. And the venture was so successful that the manufacture of selected motorcar components for use in the parent factory was introduced. Junior cars give excellent training in press work and other processes, enabling the men to acquire the skills needed for participation in motor vehicle manufacture. Cellulose spraying in such conditions is perfectly safe, even for men who suffer from a lung complaint. This spraying booth is air-conditioned and water-washed, and all other necessary precautions are taken. Here's an example of what we were talking about just now, the production of components for the parent factory. This man, like all his workmates, was once a coal miner and has now learned a new skilled job in middle age. The man on his left is 50 and has been here for 4.5 years. Though some of the machinery is heavy and powerful, none of it involves heavy physical effort. This big press guard is counterbalanced, so that it can be operated with a touch of a hand. The medical officer keeps a careful check on each man's job to make sure no one is overstraining himself. This man is the factory's oldest worker. He was well in his 60s when he was taken on, and he has worked with unfailing regularity since. It's worth mentioning, incidentally, that the rate of absenteeism here is no higher than in industry as a whole. Day by day, a stream of finished products leaves the factory for the corporation's assembly lines in the Midlands. This is no isolated enterprise. It is a productive unit of a great industry, just as the men who work in it have found their place as fully productive citizens in the national economy. Mr. Osmond has found his place. His fingers are quickly adapting themselves to the work of the trim shop. The corporation have given to him, as they have to hundreds of his workmates, the chance of conquering his disability, of mastering a new job in which he can take pride, of becoming once again a useful member of society. This factory has shown what disabled men can do if industry gives them opportunity. The scourge of pneumoconiosis has yet to be conquered, but the knowledge that its victims can have work and security has lifted a great shadow from the mining valleys of Wales.